thought I would do a, I gotta make a tote, and it's just a really simple tote. So I thought I'd take you along. I didn't even give this one a fancy name. I just call it the standard tote. It is really pretty basic. I do have a couple of different pockets that I put on it, but they're nothing fancy. They're really nothing fancy. I have the pattern that I got made up. I have it in 3 pieces. It can be done in 3 pieces. Sometimes I like to go with contrasting colors, just because, I don't know, sometimes I'm like that. It can be done all in one piece, or all in one color, and you just simply put your pieces together, like so, and then this piece has to move to the other side as well. It's in 3 pieces, so it's a relatively simple tote pattern. I'm going to roll some leather out here. I got my big table laid out. As long as I got this thing set up, I wanted to cut out at least one of these and get it together. I might do a 2-tone. We'll see. Black and brown. I got some black. I got 2 tones of brown. I'll take a look at what I got. I'll make a decision in a minute. But I'm going to lay out some leather and we'll get some cut and figure out what we're going to do from there. So I'll be right back. So this is a cognac color, and kind of nice. It's got a nice little pull up to it. And I think this will make a nice looking bag. I think I'm going to use a natural veg tan for the handles, but I'm not exactly sure yet. So when I cut this, I'm going to cut a piece off and cut a straight edge so I can make a straight edge and possibly make handles out of this. I'm not sure yet. But I am going to take and lay out. I know some of this will come out, so I'm not real worried about it. But I do want to be able to make sure I've got enough room to lay my pattern out. So that looks pretty good. Got my big cutting mat under here. May have to slip a small one under the other side there just to make up the difference. And this is a 4-ounce leather. It's a little thinner than I'd like to use, but that's what I have. Like I said, I haven't made one of these for a while, so I'm going to do it now. Grab a good straight edge. Let's see if I can reach all the way across here. That should be pretty satisfactory there. Like I said, I'm not sure that I'm going to use that yet. But for now, we'll just do this. And I'm starting to like having this big table in here, so I've got room to cut stuff. Now if I wanted to use a different color, I could make the top panels a different color, make the bottom a different color. Sometimes I like to go crazy. I might do one, I've got some black, It's a 3.5 to 4 ounce. And I might do that with like a red bottom. Might be kind of neat. Just never know what Mr. Tolly's going to pull out of his hat. So, this should all work out pretty well. I believe. Looked at this. I'm going to take another quick look at the bottom. Looks perfect. Looks beautiful. So, I'll put this part right about here. And this right there, and everything just meets up. It's really kind of nice that way. So it all meets right up. Put my heavy weight there. Got my water bottle back there. Put another weight right there. Grab a scribe. And go to town. I'm going to hold that and make sure, yep, we'll be able to see that real well. I did have to remake this pattern, so hopefully it all works out. But I hope you can see my lines came out real well. I'm not going to have any problem following them. But I would just line up on this end, put our weight bag on there, carefully slide it a little bit, and I'll just draw out the rest of it. Get ready to start cutting. I'll be right back. On this piece, I have marked for handles, and that also corresponds with this piece, which holds an inside pocket, which is just held on with the same rivets as the handle's held on with. So it's really not, it's pretty hard to screw this up. Just simply line it back up. If you're smart and you place it right side up the first time, you can just mark all this right away. And when I'm ready, I'll just take a hole punch and punch those holes. Not too big a deal. So that part's ready to cut that out. If I have a spot that I can cut a pocket part out of, I will cut it. Right there, I think I can squeeze that out. And this way I can just cut everything all at one time. And anytime you're tracing around something, if you put a weight on there, it just helps it to stay in place better. Flies and mosquitoes. Now I can draw 2 of these, but the second one only needs to come up to about the bottom of the holes here. Does not need to come up all the way. Alright. So I'm going to use this one to cut off so it's facing the front. This one, the nicer part, is going to show on top. Not a big deal. That's really all there is to that. I'm just going to put the one pocket on the inside. I haven't decided if I want one on the outside yet. I may. We'll see. Anyway, I'm just going to grab my round knife and get to cutting this out. I went ahead and since I had it out, I punched some 5/32 holes in here. Those will be for my handle, and they're going to hold that pocket on the inside. I still have to cut these little sections out. This is how wide the bottom is going to be, roughly. So I need to cut those out. I'm just going to freehand them, but I'm pretty confident in my freehand abilities. So if you're not, don't do it. Use a ruler. Now I'm not going quite to the end. It should be free on one corner, but I'm not going quite to the end. I'll finish that from the other direction. Sometimes you don't quite get it perfect. For some reason this looks funny, so I'm going to double check that. It's right. Can't get much closer. So we'll just cut her out. It just looks funny. So I can also, if I wanted to, just hold this up. Very carefully go in it that way. But you gotta really be careful. It's really easy to overcut when you do that. You gotta be super careful. So really, that's the bag. I am going to sew this inside out, but first I'm going to see if I can burnish this. I'm not sure if I can, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'll try it at first on a piece of scrap. If I can burnish it, I will burnish the top, and I'll have that done before I start anything else. But I'm going to crease or edge this real quick, see how it works, and then I'll be right back and let you know how things go. When I first got this burnishing tool, I was really unhappy with the results I was getting. And someone told me, just keep using it. Use it and then finish the burnish with some canvas. But keep using it. You have to break them in. So there's your piece of advice when it comes to your wood slicker. You have to keep using it. And you have to get it broken in. And once you're all broken in, you can get an edge that looks like that on the first go. So, I have on my back piece some 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch tape. That's my top. I could probably go around and put a groove up there, but I don't feel like it. I did rough up under the tape, at least on the finished side. just because it'll help me line this up. I know it's not perfect, so I'm just going to try to line it up as best I can. And I know that I will have to do a little trimming. Once it looks like it's in the right spot, I'll just press it down. And I know I have to trim it already. This edge is going to be good. The bottom, I don't know why that's off, but it is. So I could probably reposition and move it up just a little bit, but it's not that bad. And then I'll edge all of this and edge everything else, and we'll sew it together. But I'm going to trim all this up. Everything else came out pretty good, so just going to trim this bit, and then I'll be back. So I've got my pocket together. Just going to do a stitch line. Wing dividers set at 1/8 of an inch, as per usual. I'm not doing a groove, I'm just doing a line. Nothing too major. For the chisels, I'm just going to use a 3.85 millimeter. Since I've had these, I just really like this size. I like it a lot. I'm going to come in. I will leave one hang off the end. But I'm going to do that last. And I did move over to the granite for this. Need to get, remember I always say you need to have plenty of lighting. I don't have enough. There we go. I should probably put you on the other side. All the way through. So since I'm doing this pocket for the tote bag, I thought I'd show you how I stitch leather. Some people wear a glove or something. I've been doing hand stitching leather for probably the last 8 years, about every day. So I've kind of got calluses where I need calluses. I need to feed out a little more here. So I don't cut into my fingers anymore. I used to get, the thread used to cut into my fingers really bad, but you kind of, I don't know, you develop your calluses and it just doesn't do it anymore. So I'm not pulling super hard on this. This thread that comes through the back, I'm pulling down and to me. This one, when it goes through, gets pulled up and away, and the camera's in the way for how I normally do this, so I'm trying to just pull up and away. So I'm pulling at kind of odd angles. And this thread is a little bit big for this hole. I should be using probably a 0.8 millimeter, but I wanted this color, and I only have this in 1 millimeter. So it may not look, it may not lay like everybody thinks it should. That's why it's not doing it. Alright, so I'm going to pull this one through, and I'm going to pull it down and towards me. This one is going under this thread, and when you see people crossing their needles and stuff and doing the little loop over, that's actually what they're doing, is this thread is going to go under this thread. And that's how they keep it angled here. Now if this was the later thread that it should be, you'd notice that the stitch on the back side here is angled like it ought to be. So it just goes under. I'll probably do another video on stitching, and I'll show you some of the boo-boos that people make, and how they're boo-boos and why they're boo-boos. I've seen some people do some pretty strange things and call it I've seen people call it saddle stitch. That's not a saddle stitch. But once you get into a groove with it, it actually goes pretty quick. I have some granddaughters here today. Since school is out, they got Oma and Opa babysitting service, I guess.